I haven't really been feeling like watching much anime lately, and DanDaDan may have single-handedly fixed that issue for me. Shonen anime has always had one huge issue, and DanDaDan has finally been the anime to dismantle it by taking something that shonen anime severely neglects and using it as a main driving plot point. But before we get to that, let me just gush over the show for a bit. Talk about a breath of fresh air. From the moment I put it on, I couldn't help but smile at the absolute ridiculousness of it. Lately, anime, especially shonen, has been taking itself so seriously. But if there's one thing anime is, it's unserious. No matter how deep it gets, there's always some buffoonery afoot. But even despite still having their silly moments, modern shonen just keeps getting something wrong. For me, it's always so painfully safe. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I've seen it all before back in the good old days, but Demon Slayer just felt so typical, and JJK was just so boring. And yeah, I finished neither of those series, and what are you gonna do about it? Fight me? No, I'm joking. I'll hear all you Gojo simps out. Maybe if you can convince me I'm wrong in the comments, I'll give these shows another watch, but from what I've seen, they all just feel like a rehash of the same old shonen tropes, in a new context and with a new art style. We see the same character archetypes filling the same roles, and to be honest, it's just kind of stale for me at this point. It's like shonen found their equivalent of the Marvel formula and have just been churning out the same stuff ever since. However, DanDaDan did something incredible. It took the same exact tropes and did something completely unrecognisable with them. And no, stop right there, because I can hear you typing away with those grubby little fingers. No, Chainsaw Man was not an exception. That show was so overrated, and to be honest, it's also one of my main issues that I have with modern anime these days, and if you want to hear my thoughts on that, you're going to have to beg me. DanDaDan, however, talk about an introduction. Right from the get-go, it was weird, fresh, hilarious, and hype as hell, all in the very first episode. And all in new ways we haven't even seen before. And despite all this, it was still very recognisably shonen. First of all, it's so rare that we get a good female character who's not just good because they're waifu material for all of you pathetic losers, or because, they're just like the boys. DanDaDan introduces us to Momo, a girl with genuine human depth to her, to the point where she feels like an actual character. We see her feel and process emotions in a way that's entirely reasonable, with the exaggerated anime source of course, but still, it's so refreshing to see. She doesn't have to be stupid or insane or super emotional or super angsty. She can just be a regular girl who even has a past that adds to that realness of her character. Also, she spent a good chunk of the first episode naked, but you wouldn't believe my absolute shock and relief when I saw how little this was sexualized and was instead treated like an actual threat. Yes, it's anime, so it's always gonna be a little bit weird. But when we saw her get stripped after ending up in a dangerous situation, rather than using her nudity as fan service, the anime genuinely built a terrifying and high-stakes situation, which was so scary and uncomfortable to watch. There wasn't really a male gaze moment, just the fact of how vulnerable a position that she was in and how scary that was. And somehow DanDaDan managed to balance this scene with an absurd amount of dick jokes, which made the whole thing seem so outrageous that you didn't even know what to think while watching it. It was overwhelming, and that's a feeling I never thought I'd get watching shonen. Alongside Momo, to complete our protagonist duo, we have Okarun, who is your complete total loser character. He doesn't have friends, he isn't good looking, he's awkward around others, but praise the Lord, the man is not a pervert. His interactions with Momo are so wholesome, and the way they respond to each other is just so much fun to watch, as they actually act like human beings rather than total degenerates. The show does such a specifically good job of showing the characters' reactions to each other's dialogue, which is so rarely done well, and as there are only a few episodes out right now, this is what I'm looking forward to the most in future episodes. And this brings me to my main point of the video. Yes, DanDaDan brings a lot of new things to the table, but we still clearly get the same shonen high school setting and supernatural focus, and we even get to see Ichigo's hollow form make an appearance. Despite all the many fresh and new things that this anime's managed to accomplish in just a few episodes, it's still very recognisably shonen. But there remains one central thing, which is missing from all shonen anime, but DanDaDan manages to bring in so flawlessly to the genre, and that is the focus on romance. This is going to sound like a very weird comparison to make, but hear me out. Think Shaun of the Dead. Amazing movie, by the way. At first glance, you'd think this is just another zombie apocalypse film, but instead this is just a backdrop which hides the overarching truth of the story. that it's actually just a rom-com that just so happens to be set during a zombie apocalypse. Just like how Edgar Wright managed to successfully get action and zombie movie fans to watch a rom-com and actually love it, DanDaDan does this same thing. DanDaDan is just a romance anime, which is packaged and camouflaged so well as a shonen anime. Momo is introduced as a hopeless romantic who is desperately looking for a boyfriend who can match the man of her dreams, an actor that she idolises. Okarun is just a lonely and awkward boy who desperately wants to make a friend. After fate brings her and Okarun together through supernatural beings, crazy action scenes, scary ghostly curses, and even unlocking supernatural powers, all your typical shonen tropes, what stands out at the end of the episode as the plot twist is a funny coincidence that reveals that Okarun might just be the guy that Momo was looking for. The plot contains all the necessary parts to start off the perfect shonen anime, even sending off our characters on an adventure to defeat an extremely overpowered enemy. But beneath all this, there is so much more going on between Okarun's and Momo's characters. Despite the absurdity and the action-packedness of the first few episodes, it's the little things which the anime focuses on, like seeing Momo blush after certain lines that Okarun says, like seeing Okarun start to let down his walls some and actually open up to Momo, like even seeing Momo accidentally overstepping certain boundaries in their current relationship. It's these scenes which get me so excited to see how these characters develop together. This isn't your typical shonen. While some scenes might look like Bleach, this isn't going to be an Ichigo and Orihime situation or a Naruto and Hinata situation. At least I really hope not anyway. We aren't going to get a random romance subplot just to tie off our characters' stories a little nicer at the end. Romance isn't an accessory like it is in so many other shonen anime. This is going to be something more and I can't wait to follow the story. And that is why you should all be watching DanDaDan. So, before you go and watch it, I just need to say one more thing real quick. I'm actually so tired of how the internet has created just swarms of people who repeat the same majority opinion over and over again, especially in anime circles. I really want to grow this channel and build a community for weird and niche opinions to have a home. So let's build a space for people with brains who can be individuals so that we can actually share our hobby in a way that matters. On that note, thank you so much for watching and please leave a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed. I would be extremely happy to engage in any kind of discussion with you guys, so please leave a comment and I'll make sure I get back to you. Thank you so much and take care.